So let's talk a little bit now about the challenges students will face as they move into secondary education, and secondary English in particular, and some of the skills that they will need to develop. So what we have here is we have 4 layers of understanding language. We have phonetic, which is largely just can you read? C-A-T spells cat, we know how to pronounce it. This is very much a case of low-level shallow meaning for earlier students who are not as experienced in English in this case. Most of the students that we're going to be talking about going into AP, IB language A should not have any problem with phonetic. Literal is then understanding definitions. What is the definition of a cat? It's a 4-legged animal, likes milk, doesn't like swimming, says meow. This is more primary focused. Obviously, when students learn no vocabulary, and we will discuss vocabulary later, we need to address phonetic and literal, but this is not going to be the focus of curriculum moving forward. The curriculum assumes that students know how to read new words and how to find out definitions for words they encounter. Instead, what we want to focus more is on the bottom half, which is figurative and cultural. So figurative is looking more at what does something mean beyond its literal definition. This is where students run into trouble with things like poetry, because they are less familiar with what a rose might mean or what the moon might mean and things like this. And then finally there is cultural, which is much more context specific. Essentially, phonetic is providing information, and by the time we get to cultural, we are mostly focusing on providing skills for students to know how to find their own information. Students mostly struggle in the figurative and cultural scenarios because they don't necessarily know that those 2 levels are there and clearly delineated.